Welcome back to Dark Points, everybody. This is Ron,
And me.
and tonight we're doing another, wait for it, cheap game binge, starting with,
A building full of cats.
yay!
Now, this game is really good. Um.
She's got a mouthful of pizza. Sorry.
The art is very beautiful. I can tell that they put a lot of work into this.
A Castle of Cats is the sequel to this game, so this is the kind of the beta.
Yeah. But A Castle Full of Cats does actually have a plot, but both of them are really good. This one is just a lot simpler. Also, our trophies glitched.
Yes.
A little
yeah,
early in.
there's one trophy I wasn't able to get. I actually had to delete the game data and come back, and I actually did get it last
And
night.
I was like looking at trophies, and it said we got that trophy, but it didn't say we platinumed it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that there is a platinum, to be honest. Alright, moving on to Arcade Islands. Claims to be 100 games, and it was only 99 cents. And, yeah, the games are like Snake, Air Hockey, Memory Match, the Cup Game. I like this one a lot, because, first of all, it's really hard. It's strategic. You got to use your brain. But this is one that I don't think I've gotten more than 1 star in. So there's a lot of trash here, but then there's some treasure too. And since it's on sale for 99 cents, I say get it. But again, a lot of these are phone games and games you've played before. And yeah, if this was 1999, I'd say avoid it completely. But you know. All right, The Last Dead End. Okay, so this is, we didn't know what this was
Yeah.
at first,
Yeah.
but basically it's a horror action adventure kind of game, kind of like old school Alone in the Darks. And it's interesting, but you can tell even just from this shot, it's scary, but it's cheap. And then we get into the main game, and look at this guy. Look at how he's made his character model, as they say. Looks like a cartoon. And then this whole section was just silly. Like, they made it so hard to just go across the building. Yeah, they block it with wet floor signs, like you can't walk through those. Anyways, you get to the lady. She sends you on your mission. She gives you this secret book. And down the rabbit hole you go. And then it starts to get really weird and good and interesting, and all these interesting things happen, like the doors closing, all these hands come up from the ground, and for a little while, I have to say, it gets genuinely creepy. That scared the crap out of me last night, by the way. All right, so you're thinking, wow, this game's really coming together, you know, and then this happens. Yeah. What is that? It looks like a PlayStation 1 monster from like a fantasy game. So there you go, Last Dead End. Heavy Fire Red Shadow. Okay, another dollar game that's just a winner. It's a turret game. The problem is that it's really only 3 levels. It says 6, but you play the beach at night, then you play the beach at day. You play the warehouse at night, then you play the warehouse at day, and then the last one I think is the military base. That's it. That's all this game is. All the enemies are so far away. There's no intensity to it. And also, it is still hard as nails, and there's no settings for that. But it's basically just dudes sniping at you from the distance, and then you gotta blow up ships. Yeah, it's 99 cents, and that's what it's worth. Alright, this one's a little complex.
This one is called Hidden Paws Mystery. I'm gonna try to not degrade it too much because besides from the control problem that it had, the whole look and vibe of the game is very cool.
Like,
and
look
all.
at this Paw Island. It's beautiful. But
The controls feel so weird, and they don't really make sense.
no, they don't make any sense at all. Like, you have to hold down R2 and use your toggle to turn. L1 is move forward. R1 is move back. Toggle is up and down when you're not holding R2. Just totally confusing. But if it weren't for that,
This game would be so fun.
Yeah, it would be just great, but sorry. All right,
Now
now
for the park.
the park. Best game. You know, there's always a piece of treasure in the poo poo. So, okay, I don't know what to say. But anyways, the park. It's you start off. Your son runs into the park. It's a beautiful day. You go after him. All of a sudden, everything gets dark and creepy, and you don't know what is happening. This game is only $3.24 right now. Worth every penny. It's scary. It is not for kids.
No.
Even,
The plot is very dark and there is some swearing.
super, yeah, and I would say super dark. Not, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but super dark. And then some big jump scares and just creepy moments like that. Look at that. Super creepy. Yeah, and then, to be honest, there's not that many jump scares. It's more just creepy. And then yeah, and you keep seeing this guy in the trench coat, and
we found out that he's like the place's owner.
Yeah, he's like a figment of the owner. He's what the owner looked like at one time. But yeah, not look at this, the dancing bear, by the way.
Dancing bear. But yeah, I did feel like watching it, like the walking was a little slow.
Yeah.
But overall, the plot and like the graphics and stuff of this game, very well put together, just not for kids at all.
Yeah, beautiful game. I kind of liken it to What Remains of Edith Finch, where you're just like on this trip and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it's also like you kind of feel like you're sinking and you're going along with the character and you're sinking down, and it's not necessarily a good feeling, but what a well-crafted game. It reminds me at certain points, like right here, of Bendy and the Ink Machine. But again, not built for jump scares, built for mood and vibe. And just an amazing game.
It's a mix of jump scare horror and psychological horror.
Yeah, and yeah, just play it. All right, Steel Rats. Charlie, what'd you think? Is that she just went, eh. I'm sure you could hear that. I like it. The problem is it's like Trials, but with different controls. If you ever played like Trials Rising or Trials Fusion, it's like Trials, but with different controls, and then you can kind of move around. But it's an action game, so you're fighting people, you're avoiding obstacles, you're figuring the level out. It's just basically a side-scrolling platformer with Trials kind of momentum, or what do you say, gravity, but yeah, I have not mastered the controls yet, and that is the huge problem, because they just throw this big laser at you and you're supposed to figure out how to run from this thing. So as frustrating as it is, I'm gonna keep playing it, but all right.
This was the greatest game ever. It's called No Thing.
I call it nothing.
It's No Thing.
I know. But
instead of like a normal, like this probably looks like we're the ones running, but we're not. Actually, the game like runs for you and you have to like turn at the perfect moment.
It's the amazing turning game. Yay!
The amazing turning game, No Thing.
It's got some personality. I like the weird computer voice, but this is all it is. And then, of course, when you make a wrong turn or turn too hard, dead. All right. Road Bustle Online. The main question to this is just why? Why? Because Road Bustle itself is cheap, and it's the exact same game, but it's online. I saw two online people walk by me, but what's the point of having an online community for a Frogger game? I don't understand it. They just made it for the sake of making it?
And later, we started glitching, and we started like floating over the cars. It was pretty handy, but it was weird.
Last night I saw a car go right off the road, just right at me. Alright, speaking of cars, Speed or Death, and this is kind of another one where it's at first you're like, oh cool, and then you're like, wait, why did they do this way? Yeah, it's a checkpoint racing game. You gotta make it to the checkpoint before the time runs out. But if you look ahead there, you can see a giant monster, a kaiju, destroying the city. So every level has like this destructive what are those movies? Disasters. Yeah, it's like a driving through a disaster movie. You got sandworms like Tremors in one of them. You got a dragon in another. But the bottom line, and you could tell, Charlie.
Yeah, I could tell that the controls weren't that good.
You can't accelerate. It's like driving through mud. Ooh. All right, and last game of the night.
King Oddball.
Yay! Cheap Angry Birds. Angry Birds Knockout.
Definitely.
But good.
Mm-hmm.
Also totally frustrating.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. There was this one level that took us like a million bajillion years to beat.
So like 30 minutes. But again, it's only 30 seconds. You're playing the level and you die, and then you're just going. So you're playing it like 100 times in that time. There are some broken levels. The diamond levels, some of them don't pop.
And this level that you're gonna see coming up is chaotic, and those are the easiest levels.
Yeah. The easy levels make it fun, but it is at its heart a bad Angry Birds, unfortunately. But great, totally worth the money, cheap money. All right, there you go. That's all the cheap games we have played this month. I hope you enjoyed it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching Dork Points. Have a beautiful day. Play more cheap games. Goodbye.
Goodbye forever. See you never.